Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. In today's video we're going to talk about 7th edition of PMBOK guide, an introduction, how the structure of the guide is being done, and what are the changes from the previous edition, and how it's get related to principles of management, and what are the new changes being incorporated in 7th edition. Okay, the structure of the PMBOK guide of 7th edition has three sections. Right, first section talks about the project performance domains. It talks about the areas of focus for a project manager or project lead who runs the project. The second section is on tailoring. This particular section talks about gives high emphasis on how to tailor your project based on the context in which you are working, right? So every project has different domains, different industries, different technologies, right? So you should be able to tailor. So this particular section gives an idea and approaches and methods and what are the ways in which you can tailor your project. The third and final important section in PMBOK Guide 7th edition is models, methods, and artifacts. This particular section talks about what are the methods and models and different artifacts is commonly used across different industries, different project management practices as such, right? Now let us look at the relationship between PMBOK guide and the standard of project management. If you look at this diagram, right? If you look at this diagram, there is principles of management. There are 12 principles we discussed in yesterday's video, right? This principles of management sits above the project's performance domains, right? What does it mean to us is these 12 principles of project management, which is from a standard of project management, is gives and guides the behavior of the team members, a project manager, or stakeholders on the areas of focus of project performance, right? So these guided behaviors, the principle is providing a guided behavior on the areas of focus and how to focus, what are the areas to focus, and what are the influence you have in different areas. How do we, have a different approaches for each performance domains, right? So always the project management principles sits above the performance domain, which guides project managers and leaders on how do we perform and focus on these project domains, and how do we make the project in successful manner in focusing on these areas by using these principles. Right, now then look at the changes in the 7th edition of PMBOK guide. How would it differentiate it from the previous edition? There is a big shift from ITTO format. Until 6th edition, the PMBOK is more process based actually. So we define all the process knowledge areas like schedule, cost management. We define stakeholder management. We talk about project integration management. So in every knowledge areas, we define what are the inputs to that particular process and what are the tools and techniques can be used and what is the output of the particular process area. So entire big shift from process based to principle based standard. Right, so that is the reason entire PMBOK guide it starts with standards of project management, which explains the major main 12 principles of project management and how those these principles of project management gives the guided behavior, right? It helps on behavior, and and it helps how do we focus on 8 process domains, and how do we help in tailoring, and how do we use commonly used models and methods and artifacts. So that is the big shift from process based to principle based standard. Actually it's a it's kind of what I would say, it's categorically shifted from process to principle, because nowadays if you look at the agile world of value delivery system, nowadays the project management is it's makes much more sense if build your standards and the guide on a principle based actually rather than process based, right? So these are the main changes of PMBOK guide. Okay, so with that we conclude this video. Thanks for listening.